Today is a very auspicious day. Tomorrow is Deepavali, but actually those lights, candles and ghee lamps, the Ayodhya Vasis, they put on today's day because they heard Ramchandra is on the way back to Ayodhya from his 14 years exile. So in order to receive him, they put today night time those lamps to receive him, and that is why also these 14 lamps offering today to deity, 14 lamps because 14 years of exile. Then he's coming back, and tomorrow there is celebration. And we are hearing Shikastaka as for Kartik Vrata. Yesterday we were hearing commentary to the 8th verse of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Or I can read again, it is very nice. I am a maid servant of the gopis, engaged in the service of his feet. He may embrace me, he may take me as his own, or he may break my heart with separation. May the desires of that debauchee of the gopas' wives be fulfilled, whatever they may be. In any case, he is the Lord of my heart, and he will never be otherwise. Shri Krishna is the independent Supreme Person. Following his will is my one and only purpose. I am not so wayward that I could show any propensity for service that is contrary to his desires. In perfection, Siddhi, neither of the jiva's appendages, upadis, that is like egos, worldly egos, the body and mind remain. At that stage, simply fulfilling Krishna's desires with one's supramundane senses in one's spiritual body, Siddha Deho, as a follower of the ladies of Braja, that is gopis, on the field of the son of Nanda's whimsical play, in supramundane Vrindavan, is itself devotion in divine love, Prema Bhakti. So to follow the gopis in the service of Krishna, that is. The jiva should never consider themselves the ashray vigraha. Themself or oneself means I should not think that I am ashray vigraha. That is a principal associate of Krishna under whose direction service to Krishna is offered. Like for example, one should not think I am Radharani, I can become Radharani, or I can become Nanda Maharaj or Jashoda, I can become Subal Saka, I can become Baladev. No. They are Nitya Siddhas, personal associates of Krishna. They are Ashraya Vigraha, those who have love for Krishna. The Jiva, Tatashta Shakti Jiva, can do service of Krishna in their shelter, in their guidance. But you can never, Tatashta Shakti Jiva can never become Swarup Shakti, internal potency, but can get the service of Krishna by their grace. But if some, like Jiva, here Prabhupada is telling, the Jiva should never consider themselves the Ashraya Vigraha, because by doing so, one engages in worship of oneself, Aham Graho Pasana. One, Aham Graho Pasana, you know, is when one considers himself equal to God. That is one kind of Aham Graho Pasana. Such worship also is there in some scriptures for gradual development. But ultimately, one should not have such self-worship, that is, not think yourself as Bhagavan. But here also Prabhupada is telling, also you should not think yourself as Ashray Vigraha. Krishna is Vishoy Vigraha, object of love, and Ashray Vigraha are those who have love for Krishna, his devotees, internal potencies, Swarup Shakti, personal associates. Jiva should not think, I am that or I can become that. This will also be self-worship, which is contrary to pure devotion. Subservience or anugatya to the Ashray Vigraha is the unalloyed state of the pure Jivatma. Even when the Jiva becomes dear to Krishna, the Jiva by nature remains by Krishna's will connected with him as a separated part, Vibhinangsha, that is Tatashta Shakti Jiva. That is why you will find in Raganuga Bhakti, in Upadeshamrita, when we will come to 8th verse, there it is stated that Jiva should place herself under that associate of Krishna whose bhava he is attracted to and wants to serve in this way Krishna. So Tatashta Shakti Jiva also in Goloka is always under the guidance of those personal associates. That is why Prabhupada, some days back I told, some devotees, his disciples, they, without taking his permission, they went to Radhakund to do bhajan. But Prabhupada said that is all imagination, it is deceitfulness, because of not following this principle of anugatya. In transcendental world also there is anugatya for jiva. You have to serve under Upamanjari or Subal according to your rasa. So if you are not following this principle here in this world, means to do bhajan as per direction of Guru, who is himself personal associate of Krishna coming here to rescue us, then you will also not do there. So in that mental service in Lila, that will not be actual, because you are not following this principle here. You are not taking permission from Guru, instruction from Guru for that type of bhajan, but whimsically on your own desire you want to do. So that is not bhajan. It may outwardly seem he's a great devotee, he's sitting in Radhakund and closing eyes and chanting. So we may outwardly think he's a great devotee, but Prabhupada said no, because that point is missing there, anugatya. So here, even when jiva attains perfection, by nature, it remains Tatashta Shakti, and Tatashta Shakti is always subservient to Swarup Shakti, even in perfection, in Goloka. In the 8 verses of Shri Shikastakam, the tattvas of Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana have been presented through discussion of Abhideya. In the first verse, general instruction is found on the practice of Shri Krishna Sankirtan. In the second, realization of one's own disqualification for this topmost practice. Amar Durdeva means my misfortune. I have got no liking because of offenses present in me. Those opposite tendencies when jiva wants to enjoy this maya, then gets this gross body and subtle body, and wants to enjoy. And there are so many species of life. So that tendency to enjoy is there as a habit or some scar. That tendency is created, like someone takes drug and then he becomes addicted. So that tendency is there. He has it has a force like that. Jiva passing through so many lives in different species with this enjoying spirit, so that is there inside, and also some direct offenses we may have committed, criticizing God, criticizing his devotees in past life or this life. So that is present within us. Ajamil, he only had desire to enjoy. No offense. That is why when he was chanting Harinam in great fear, out from the heart he chanted, he was rescued because there was no offense present. But if offenses are present, then one cannot attain that result. By chanting, he must rectify those offenses inside his heart by taking shelter of bona fide Guru and Vaishnava and serve them and continuously chant Harinam with great dedication. Then those tendencies can be removed from the heart. Then one can come to pure chanting. So here Mahaprabhu is telling that this is the reason why I am not having liking to chant, because of other tendencies except service of Krishna. So that has to be removed in Sadhu Sangha, that Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya, following the instructions of Guru. Then gradually those anarthas, aparadas, all those can be removed. Then one can attain the third verse here, Prabhupada is telling. In the third verse, the process to chant the divine name means how to chant properly that pure name. In the fourth, rejection of unfavorable desires and deceit. That is nadhanam, najanam, I don't want. Deceitfulness is to want to merge yourself in personal Brahman, because that is you are eternal servant of Krishna. So that is neglecting his service. Deceitfulness for the jiva. In the fifth verse, knowledge of the true self, that is Swarup, Oinanda Tanuja Kinkaram, I am your eternal servant. That time we get this glimpse, some realization of our Swarup. In the sixth verse, description of one's good fortune in Krishna's presence, because that time you are on Bhava stage, transcendental, so there is some direct connection with Krishna. In the seventh, description of the rasa of separation in the advanced stage. And in the eighth verse, attainment of one's goal, Swaprayojana Siddhi. In the first 5 verses, there is instruction on Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of the jiva's relationship with Krishna based on Abhideya. From that practice, this is shown what is our relationship with Krishna. In all 8 verses, instruction on Abhideya is found, means the process. And in the final 3 verses, instruction on Prayojana is found. That is first Bhava Bhakti on 6th verse and Prema Bhakti on 7th and 8th. That is the ultimate goal. In the first 5 verses, in discussion of Abhideya, Sadhana Bhakti is fully expressed. Up to 5th verse, that is all Sadhana Bhakti. In the next 2 verses, Bhava Bhakti is fully expressed. And in verses 6 to 8, in particular in the 7th and 8th verses, the goal of Prema Bhakti is fully expressed. You know, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are 3 stages of Bhakti: Sadhana, Bhava, and Prema. So all are described here in Shikastaka. Now, I offer obeisances at the holy feet of all readers, citing covers of Sri Chakravarti Thakur. There is some controversy about the author of this verse. Some say Sri Nath Chakravarti. He was one, I think he's a disciple of Kavi Karna or some early, and he wrote one commentary to Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Manjusa, and there he wrote this verse. Some others say it was written by Vishwanath Chakravarti. And some say that Sri Nath Chakravarti wrote that verse, but there is some slight difference in the last line, or in one line, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur slightly wrote differently. So many versions. Our Gurudev said it is written by Srinath Chakravarti. But anyway, whoever the author is, the main point is the message. Both if Vishnu or if they slightly, message is the same. So the message we have to take. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Brindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja Badu Vargena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradara Na Para. The object of worship is Bhagavan, the son of the king of Braja. So Bhagavan means in general, but Mahaprabhu says specifically, Aradhyo Bhagavan, which Bhagavan? Brajesha Tanaya, the son of the king of Braja, means Krishna, whose abode is Vrindavan. The most pleasing worship is that performed by the wives of Braja, that is Gopis, in Parakya Bhav. That is Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja Bhadu. Srimad Bhagavatam is the flawless authority or evidence. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam means you will find evidence for this, that this is the highest, in Srimad Bhagavatam. In 10th canto, it is described. And Prema is the ultimate goal of human life. Not Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, but Prema. This is the conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We adore it as supreme. Some other, they say, we Tatradara Napara. We have no affection for any other yes, here the Tatradara Napara. There is nothing is superior, and another is Tatradara Napara. Any other conception we have no affection, we don't accept. In 10th canto, in Srimad Bhagavatam, this Parakya Bhav is described in Raslila topic and other that Radharani that bumblebee and that. But we have to carefully see what Vyasadeva wrote after describing Raslila, that one should not imitate this. Otherwise, if he will try to imitate, even mentally, he will be destroyed. Like, if one is not Shiva, he cannot drink that poison, like Shiva can. And another point, he said that who can hear and speak this Raslila? Remember, only one who has firm faith, Shraddhanvita, that word is used, that Krishna is the only enjoyer, all others are to be enjoyed by him. There is no partnership in enjoyment. Okay, Krishna may have like thousands of gopis, but I can have at least 2, 3. He's powerful, but I can have some. No, that type of conception is prohibited. Or becoming envious of Krishna, why he will take all, I can have some. And another is Anushrinuyat, one has to hear from bona fide source, realized soul, pure devotee, and such pure devotee will consider qualification of disciple when to speak this lila to him, at what stage, so that disciple may not misunderstand or try to imitate or become envious or misunderstand like man-woman relationship. This guru has to see how he will train him in bhajan and in hearing first 9 cantos to get the knowledge of tattva, of who is jiva, who is supreme lord, only enjoyer, who are devotees, all tattvas, he must be well established. Then that Krishna is supreme, he is Bhagavan, that is, we are hearing in Brahma's prayers to Krishna. Brahma could not understand who is Krishna. He thought an ordinary cowherd boy. But then, by his grace, when he surrendered, he could realize that Krishna is actually supreme object of worship, but now doing such lila. So all that tattva we have to be well established, and who are the gopis, who is Krishna, everything, who am I, and firm faith and dedication to Krishna. When one has faith that Krishna is only enjoyer, then he will dedicate himself to Krishna. Then only one can hear and describe that lila, and will get that highest type of devotion. So here ends the commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now we will start Upadeshamrita. So here in Upadeshamrita also this is stated, what is the highest prem and how to attain it. So here in the first 2 verses we will see Rupa Goswami, who is most dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami spread teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his order. Very carefully we have to see the first 2 verses. This, as I said before, there are certain tendencies, forces of tongue, all this. So this has to be controlled. Genitals have to be controlled. So how one can think, I can enjoy like Krishna with gopis. That is not like that. Otherwise, why Rupa Goswami would write this? And one has to give up overeating and so many things. We will now hear Then if someone follows this procedure, then he can get that pure prema, not mistaking it for this worldly something. Sri Upadeshamrita, Nectarian Instructions by Srila Rupa Goswami, then commentary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. Verse 1. Vacho vegam, manasah krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropasta vegam, etan vegan yo vishaheta dhira, sarvam apimam prithivim sa shishyat. The urge of speech, the urges of the mind and anger, the urge of the tongue, the urges of the belly and the genitals. The sober person who can control all these urges can instruct the entire world. So here Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he started with one song. Guru Kripa bole lobi sambandha bigyan, kriti jeep hoyen bhajane jatnavan. Attaining a proper conception of their relationship with the Lord by the mercy of Sri Guru, fortunate souls engage in the Lord's service. Fortunate jivas means those who have gathered enough sukriti and their faith in Krishna was awakened and they got sadhu sangha. Among all sadhus, Guru is the best. So he will take shelter of Guru, and by the grace of Guru, he will get that sambandha gyan, that relationship with Krishna. When that is established, then he can be engaged in the Lord's service. So this is necessary to be service. Otherwise, yogis, jnanis, karmis, they also chant Harinam, but they have no sambandha gyan. So their chanting is not pure name. It is for something else. And by that one cannot get prema. One has to have sambandha gyan gotten, means awakened by Guru. Then that will be service to Krishna for his satisfaction. Sei jive Shri Rup Goswami Mahadoy Upadeshamrite dhanya koren nishchoy. Srila Rupa Goswami has certainly blessed such souls with Shri Upadeshamrita. Such jivas, those who have awakened their sambandha gyan with Krishna. That is why our Gurudev told, for those who are initiated devotees, they should, like our Gurudev, he used to explain in Harikatha, in like new places, public places like this, Harikatha, we are not this body and about happiness and all these things, make all these basic topics to make us understand about sambandha, faith in Krishna and our relationship with him. That is the purpose. So when one awakens that faith by hearing Harikatha from pure devotee and engaging in some service, what he can do, then when that sambandha is awakened, then Guru will give, that Shraddha is awakened, then Guru will give initiation, then as sambandha is established, then our Gurudev told, now you have to practice this Shikastaka and Upadeshamrita. It is meant for these jivas. is most important, because practice is most important. By practice, you can get development in devotion. Not only by theoretizing philosophy, engaged in all this. No, by practice. So instructions for practice are given here in Shikastaka and Upadeshamrita. Hi griha tyagi bhede dviprakar jone. Upadesh bhed vicharibe bigya gone. There are two types of practitioners, householders and renunciants. And the wise will conclude that there are different instructions for each of them. That we will hear later on how they are different. Grihi proti ei sop upodesh hoy, griho tyagi prati iha parakasta moy. All these instructions are for householders, and they are of utmost importance for renunciants. Our Gurudev explained that here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling this first verse is meant for householders, not for ascetics, because before one can accept ascetic order, he must already have this control over these 6 urges. Otherwise, how he can become ascetic? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is clear about this. But one thing happened during the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The society, due to foreign influence of British and Muslim like this, the situation degraded in India that it was difficult to perform devotion to Krishna in house. So many obstacles, family members not allowing, so many obstacles. So Prabhupada, seeing that, and also for the future, he made this system of math monasteries that was not before in Gauriya. Monasteries where those who are inclined to serve Krishna can come and stay, though they did not yet fully control these senses. Because without performing bhajan, one cannot control these senses. And if he cannot do bhajan in house, then what to do? Then he must be given such opportunity, and Prabhupada knew fully well they have not yet achieved full control over their senses. Still he allowed them. Why? So that they can do bhajan. There may be some disturbance in beginning, but you have to manage somehow by tolerance in order to give them opportunity, like hospital. Patients will come to hospital to be cured. So you should not be surprised that there are patients in hospital. It is not that only healthy person will be there. Like that in monasteries, not all are pure. There are patients, those who have started bhajan, but they are unable to do in house. So that is there. Vakya vek, mano vek, krodha vek, ar jiva vek, udara upasta vek, chara, ei choi vek sohi Krishna namashraye, jagat shashite pare parajya bhoye. Those who tolerate the 6 base urges, the urges of speech, the mind, anger, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. by taking the shelter of Krishna's name, can control the world and conquer fear. So by taking shelter of Krishna's name, it will be possible to get this quality. To be able to tolerate means not fulfill the urges of these six. And such a devotee who can tolerate, he can control the whole world. He's above this Maya world, and that is why he can conquer fear also. Fear is for one who misidentifies with matter, but realized soul, who is established in his real self, in Atma, he has no fear. So it will be possible by devotion to Krishna, by taking shelter of Krishna's name. Kevala Sharanagati Krishna Bhakti Moy, Bhakti Pratikul Tyagtar Anga Hoy. Exclusive surrender is made up of devotion to Krishna. Rejecting that which is unfavorable to devotion is one of its limbs. You know, six are there. Six for Charanagati, to accept what is favorable for devotion and to reject what is unfavorable, and accept that Krishna is the only protector, Krishna is the only maintainer. Then humbleness, by knowing I am his marginal potency, belong to him, and Atmanivedanam means offering everything to him. Myself and whatever I think to be mine, offering to him for his service. This is sixfold Sharanagati. So one limb is this, rejecting that which is unfavorable to devotion. Chaya bek sohi jukto vairagya ashraye name aparat shunya hoive nirbhoye. Those who tolerate these six urges in the shelter of proper renunciation, means Jukta Vairagya, will without fear become free from the offenses to the name. Or another also, Chaya Bek Sohi Jukta Vairagya Ashre Name Aparat Shunya Hoive Nirbhoye. One who will, by practicing Jukta Vairagya, be able to tolerate these six urges and giving up all offenses to the name, will be free from all offenses, he will become fearless, means realized. This was in song form. Now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prose commentary starting. Shri Shri Godruma Chandraya Namah. I offer my obeisances to the moon of Shri Godrundip, means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yat Kripa Sagarodbhutam Upadeshamritam Bhuvi Shri Rupena Samanitam Gaura Chandram Bhajamitam Natva Granta Pranetaram Tikakaram Pranamya Cha Maya Virachate Vritih Piyusha Pariveshani. This is in Sanskrit. I serve Gaura Chandra, from the ocean of whose mercy the nectar of instruction, the Upadeshamrita, was produced and brought to the world by Sri Rupa Goswami. Offering my obeisance to the author of this text, Srila Rupa Goswami, and the commentator Sri Radharaman Das, I write this commentary that showers that nectar. Piyusha Varshini Vriti is the name. That showers that nectar. This Radharaman Das Prabhu, he was the first commentator to Upadeshamrita, he is in the line of Gopal Bhatta Goswami of Radharaman temple. So he wrote a commentary also. Anya Bilas, so present acharyas always they will give respect to previous acharyas. So that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, I am serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is from whose mercy this came to Rupa, and Rupa is the author and commentator also. I am giving my respect and I am serving them. Anya Bilasita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulena Krishnanushilana Bhakti Rutama. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami wrote, pure devotion is constant endeavor to please Krishna that is free from fleeting desires and unobstructed by exploitation and renunciation. Jnana, Anya Bilasita means other desires, Shunyam, without. Jnana karma de anavrita, not covered or obstructed by those targets for bhukti or mukti, that is exploitation or renunciation. The practice of devotion based on the acceptance of the favorable and the rejection of the unfavorable that is prescribed in this verse is extremely necessary for devotees. Acceptance of the favorable and rejection of the unfavorable are not limbs of pure devotion itself, but are limbs of surrender, which gives one the qualification for devotion and is the primary characteristic of faith. Our Gurudev explained, Sharanagati is the foundation of devotion. If there is no Sharanagati, then outwardly someone may do some like devotional forums, looks like, but that will go into his pocket because no Sharanagati to Krishna, no realization that I belong to Krishna. And everything should be done for his service, for his satisfaction. So first one has to practice Sharanagati, that is characterized by faith in Krishna, by serving whom we serve all, that is faith. Definition of faith in Shastra is this. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Shraddha is that kind of faith without any doubt that if someone serves Krishna, then he fulfills all his duties. Nothing else is necessary except only service to Krishna. That is, watering at the root of tree, whole tree is nourished. Giving food to stomach, whole body is nourished. Separately is not necessary to give, and that will be misused. It will not work. So that is faith. And from faith, Sharanagati comes. And when one is surrendered to Krishna, then only it is possible that he will do for Krishna. That is why also you will see in Prahlad Maharaj's description of Uttama Vidya or Uttam Gyan, highest knowledge. Hiranyakashipu asked, what you learned from your gurus? What is the best you learned from your gurus? Then Prahlad Maharaj did not speak about Sanda and Marka. They are not bona fide gurus. He spoke what is the teaching of bona fide guru, Narad Goswami, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, that 9 forums, but he said, Iti Punksharpita, one who is surrendered to Krishna and does these 9, That is topmost. Sharanagati is mentioned there. It is most important. And Sharanagati we can awaken, or we can learn Sharanagati from one who is Sharanagata. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote that song about Sharanagati, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jividaya Kori, Saparashat Adam. Then he explained. Then at the end he says, O Rupa and Sanatan, I am most fallen, most low. I am taking your shelter. Please teach me Sharanagati and make me exalted. So we have to learn Sharanagati from Sharanagata person. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulya vivarjanam. Rakshishyatiti vishwasogoptrita varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpane sadvira sharanagati. It's from Vaishnava Tantra, means this sixfold Sharanagati. Accepting the favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, confidence that Krishna will grant his protection, embracing Krishna's guardianship, or that is his mind maintainer, fully offering oneself, and humility are the 6 limbs of surrender. In this verse, means of Upadeshamrita, first verse, in this verse, rejection of the unfavorable is prescribed. One who can meticulously tolerate the urges of speech, the mind, anger, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals can instruct the entire world. Shokamarshadibir bhaver akrantam yasya manasam katham tatra mukundasya spurti sambhavana bhavet. This is from Sri Padma Puran. The Lord does not appear in the hearts of those who are disturbed by lamentation, anger, and other disorders. Shokamarshadi means lust, anger, all these urges, lamentation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think to Raghunath Das Goswami, Jihvar lalase jai iti uti dhai Shishnodar parayan Krishno nahi paye. Jihvar lalase, out of greed of the tongue to relish nice food. Jihvar lalase jai iti uti dhai. He's going here and there to get nice food, or always thinking of nice enjoyment, food. Jihvar lalase jai iti uti dhai Shishnodar parayan, and who is slave of genitals and belly, stomach, means he wants to eat more than necessary because of enjoyment. He's not thinking about service of Krishna. He's only thinking for enjoyment. So he's eating too much. We will come to this point in Upadeshamrita. And when one is overeating, then also these genitals will be excited. So one who is a slave, Mahaprabhu says, Shishnodar parayan, Krishna nahi paye. He cannot attain Krishna. Or lamentation also. Oh, I lost this or that person died, and this. All the time lamentation. That is also attention is somewhere else. You cannot serve Krishna with if attention is on all this. You are a slave. You are slave of senses, of mind, all this, so how you can serve Krishna? You are fully engaged in the service of Maya, so how you can serve Krishna? Lust, anger, greed, bewilderment, pride and envy, means kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarja. It is known through the purport of this verse that these disturbances always arise in the human mind and engross it in the mundane through the urge of speech, using words that disturb others. The urge of the mind means various desires. The urge of anger, using harsh words. The urge of the tongue, craving the 6 different tastes, namely sweet, sour, astringent, salty, pungent, and bitter. The urge of the belly, eating excessively, and the urge of the genitals, craving male-female union. As a result, no pure practice of devotion takes place within the heart. Our Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami, started first of all with this verse to make the hearts of those endeavoring to serve fit for devotion. Trying to check these 6 urges is not itself the practice of devotion. Rather, it is the practice of making oneself fit to enter the temple of devotion. Or like these 4 regulative principles. That is also not direct devotion. You are not directly serving Krishna pleasing, but if you do those things, Krishna will be displeased, and they are obstacles on path of devotion. You will be engaged in other things, and that will pollute your mind. Then how you will remember Krishna, how you will serve. So this is part of devotion, it has to be rejected. There are instructions for checking these 6 urges on the path of karma and the path of Gyan. Even they have to practice this, to practice their own sadhana, so it is important for all. But such methods should not be followed by devotees, means the methods which are given there in karma and Gyan, because devotees, they will do this. Hearing about Krishna's name, form, pastimes and so forth, chanting about them and remembering them is itself devotion, means Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran. These devotees, because they have faith, they can do devotion. Karmis, Gyanis, they don't have, so they have some other procedures how they will try to control this. But that is not meant for devotees. For devotees, direct engagement in Krishna service will be prescribed. There is some little more to end Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's. During devotional activities, these 6 urges arise and disturb the practice of immature practitioners. Those who are beginners. So when they will do, then this thing will come. Because I told before, because of previous bad habits and tendencies, samskaras, they come. At that time, in their endeavor to give up the 10 offenses to the name through unconditional surrender, devotees are able to avoid these obstructions by the mercy of the name and the power of pure devotees association. So for devotees, they should try to give up all offenses and take shelter of the name and sadhu sangha. Then by this practice, they will be able to be free, become free from these 6 disturbances of these urges. So positive practice you have to do, devotion to Krishna, then that will help you to overcome all this. Api nama mahatmyam yah priti rahito dhama aham mamati paramo namni sopi aparada krit. This is from Sri Padma Puran. Fallen souls who, even after hearing the glories of the name, have no love for the name and remain engrossed in the conceptions of I and mine, are offenders to the name. This is 10th offense. She wrote here, Deepavali is tomorrow. According to Vaishnav calendar, Deepavali is tomorrow. Today, only giving lights because Ramachandra is about to come from forest to Ayodhya. Lights. But Deepavali festival is tomorrow on Amavasya, empty moon. Tomorrow we can hear about Deepavali. So here, this is offense to the name. To keep this I and mine conception, devotees practice proper renunciation, Yukta Vairagya. They should not practice dry renunciation. Thus, there is no prescription for them to give up all contact with material affairs, like Gyanis, they try to do. No. They are practicing Yukta Vairagya, means they are seeing in relation to Krishna everything and how it should be utilized for his service. As soon as the urge of the mind, that is thirst for the mundane, goes away, the urges of the eyes, nose, and ears become controlled. So the desire has to be given up. Therefore, those who conquer the 6 urges and follow the soul conquer the world. So by following the soul is nature is to serve Krishna. So we have to follow that instinct of the soul. By that practice, we can conquer these 6 urges and this whole world. The instruction to tolerate these urges is mainly for householder devotees, as renunciants have already completely given up all these urges before renouncing their homes. Otherwise, they cannot, only in that sense which I told before. If someone is inclined to serve, but it is impossible, so many obstacles in his house, then he is allowed to renounce house and come to monastery, practice devotion, and by that devotion he will be able to conquer. So at that time he is not ascetic by qualification yet, although not staying in house, but devotee and immature, and gradually he can conquer all those by practicing Harinam and Sadhu Sangha and all devotional forums. He can gradually conquer. So this is the end of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary to first verse. Tomorrow we'll hear Srila Prabhupada's commentary.